line. So over to our next speaker, who is Gbemi Oni. I am so excited to hear her speak. She will be telling us about elevating executive presence through energy mastery. This afternoon, we have heard so much about consistency, persistence, but now it's time to hear about the energy that we are conveying in the rooms and the spaces that we are in. Gbemi is a transformation and growth coach, and she's certified by the John Maxwell team with a background in change management spanning 4 continents. She helps individuals and business leaders break free from stagnation. Gbemi offers personalized coaching and training services, drawing on her expertise to guide clients towards an intentional living. An advocate for charitable causes, she is passionate about travel and fitness. Gbemi, the stage is yours. We are excited to hear from you this
Thank you very
afternoon.
much, Rago. Hello, everyone. I am excited to be here, actually. I have been listening to all the other speakers, and it's just been an absolute blast. The one thing I have learned from the speakers, though, is that the time flies, so I'm not going to spend too much time going back and forth on niceties. I'm just going to go straight into what I want to talk to you about. So, as you know, my name is Gbemi Oni. I'm going to do a very brief introduction again of myself. So, I'm born and raised in Nigeria, very humble beginnings. I have had the blessing and opportunity to work in about 4 continents, and I've just put some of the brands I have worked with on the slide here, being in some very, very interesting rooms. Being in those particular spaces, if you have a look at what I have on the page, Europe, Africa, Middle East, North America, sometimes I had to ask myself a question of, oh my God, how am I doing this? Or what am I doing here? Or you look around the space and you think, okay, what do I need to do to fit? What do I need to do to make sure that, I don't look like a fraud? And if any of you can relate to just being in a space where you're wondering how in God's name have I arrived in this particular space, you will understand what it means to sometimes deal with imposter syndrome, understanding what it means to feel like, oh, am I being a fraud? Or what is the right thing to say? What is not the right, what is the wrong thing to say? How do I make sure that I can perform, so that people know that I deserve my space in this particular room? So I have dealt with a lot of that. And I have also, in my last few years, come to understand that maybe performance is not what I need, to actually own my space in those particular rooms. Maybe what I need is something different. And in the last 2 years, I have done a lot of work, and I'm still doing a lot of work when it comes to energy, because I realized that actually beyond performance, beyond trying to fit in, trying to have all the right answers and overthinking, there is something about you as a person that comes through. And that's what I want to try and teach you guys today, at least share with you what I've been learning. And hopefully you can take something away that you'll find very useful moving forward. Now, I have a clock of my own on this side. So if I look over here, I'm looking at my clock to make sure I stay right on time. So as we said earlier, today I will be talking about executive presence. When you hear the word executive presence, the first thing that kind of comes to mind, or what you think about, is it refers to an intangible quality that exudes confidence, commands respect, and inspires trust. So when I hear the word executive presence, some people might think about somebody in a suit, somebody in a very high power place. I think about somebody, that in your own immediate environment and is just very confident, or somebody that you just for some reason respect, even though you haven't really engaged with them. Now, the piece I want you to take away from this particular slide is the element around intangible quality. And for the sake of this presentation, I want you to think about intangible quality as a vibe. It's intangible. It's just something that's, executive presence refers to the vibe that exudes confidence, the vibe that commands respect, the vibe that just makes you feel like you can trust that particular person. When I use the word vibe, I also want you to think about it in the word of energy. Many of you would have, in this day and age, everybody uses this word, oh, I just don't like her vibe. Oh, I just don't get along with this person. There's something about this person. It's all about the vibe. And sometimes it can be annoying. It feels like, oh, everybody's just using the word vibe, vibe, vibe. But when you take a step back, you actually have to understand that there is power in that vibe. People make decisions about you in nanoseconds. Even them, they don't know that they're making a decision about you. because they're not doing it consciously. There's just something about what you're bringing and how you're showing up that you cannot explain. They cannot explain. They just feel it. And that's what I want you to try to focus on as I talk through this particular topic today. When I say vibe and I say something that you cannot focus on, what I'm saying basically is, for this context, think about yourself as a satellite dish. You are always giving out something. You are always giving out something, whether you like it or not. As human beings, we're always giving out something. And the worst part of it is that what we're giving out many times is very subconscious. We don't even know that we're giving it out. It's just what people say, the vibe. So I want you to think of yourself as being like a satellite dish, broadcasting powerful signal to the world. Whether you like it or not, it is happening. You have no control. You can't stop it. What you can do, however, is choose what you are vibing, is choose what you are bringing, is choose how you're showing up. I know we use this word a lot. How are you showing up? How are you showing up? But it's hard to tell how you're showing up if you're not aware that at a subconscious level, you are always showing up, even when you're brushing your teeth, because it determines how people will receive you, how people will feel into you, how people will connect with you. It also determines how you feel generally. So it's very, very important that you think about it in that particular sense. So now that I say we're all satellite dish, we're constantly giving out a vibe, I'm going to share a couple of pictures with you. And I want you to tell me, as you look at these ladies, what is the vibe that you're getting from them? What is the vibe? What is the energy that you're feeling from them? Just looking at that picture. With Michelle, you can say, oh, she's looking open, she's looking confident, she's looking chilled, looks like she's also having fun. It kind of draws you in, feels like you can trust this person. With Ngozi, she's looking very calm, she's looking very calculated, looks like she's paying a lot of attention to you and very present. With Condoleezza, it looks very different. And when you see these images, sometimes we think about executive presence and we think about being closed off, we think about being bossy, but that's not really what it's about. Executive presence is about how do you inspire trust in others just by them meeting you? How do you inspire confidence in others just by them being in the same space with you? How do you inspire some level of loyalty or just willing to collaborate with you just by you being in a particular space? The truth of the matter is that whether we like it or not, we are always giving out something. And with these ladies, I know the thought that comes to mind is, women is easy for them. Come on, Michelle is, from our first lady. This is, these are very strong ladies and, powerful ladies in their own right. But the truth of the matter is, I'll challenge you to go back and look at some of their old pictures. It was so interesting. I don't have the time to show you, but I went back and looked at some of the old pictures of the same people, even before they got on this particular stage, and they had the same vibe. They had the same energy about them and the same thing about them. What is interesting is that energy at the subconscious level made room for them in different spaces. And then the stage that they are on now is to even elevate and project that energy even more into the world. So I want you to think about it not from a perspective of, it's easy for these ladies to have this executive presence because they have some title or they have some position. Think about it that what they had in the sense of their presence and their energy is what made space for them. And I want to use that to say, sometimes you can ask yourself the question of, well, where I am right now is hard to, to be showing up that way. I don't have the kind of title, I don't have the kind of presence that they have. What I want you to understand is that your present circumstance does not determine where you go. All your present circumstance does is determines where you start. So if you take a step back and say, okay, me as I am today, right now in this space, I want you to be honest with yourself. If somebody takes a picture of you or comes into that particular space, what are you giving off? What is the energy that you're giving off? Is there, is that a vibe? Is that an energy of confidence? Is there an energy of abundance? Is there a thought of, I can do great things? Or are you in your woe and low me? Oh my God, life is so unfair. I have tried my best, things are not working out, and you're just dwelling in a particular space. I don't know if some of you have been in a space with somebody before, you feel like, oh my God, I feel very drained and tired, just because you're in the same space with that person. That's exactly how it is. So I want you to just take a moment to ask yourself, what energy am I giving off right now? And what energy do people, or how do people feel when they come around me? If you're not sure, Just get a sense of how people feel when they come around you. It will give you an indication into the kind of energy that you're giving off. I'm going to share with you 4 key areas on how to go about trying to improve your executive presence. First thing I want you to notice this. Executive presence, this whole idea of showing up and being able to, inspire trust, being able to inspire confidence, being able to inspire, loyalty, is not a destination. It doesn't happen overnight. It's okay to be in your space where you are and still feel some level of imposter syndrome. It happens to the best of us. It still happens in certain rooms that you actually walk into, but you have to remind yourself. 4 key things or 4 milestones. The first one I always like to look at is what I call laying the foundation. And laying the foundation here, I am basically referring to awareness. Do you even know that you're giving off something? Do you even know that you are a satellite dish, whether you like it or not, you are giving up something? So what you have to do is you have to be aware of it and choose what you want to actually give off. That is the first thing. Understanding for yourself when you wake up in the morning, what is your default energy? Are you one of those people that wake up in the morning and feeling, yes, good day, I'm ready to go? Or are you one of those people that wake up in the morning and like, oh my God, another day. I can just imagine, oh my God, horrific. Oh, all those meetings I have. I'm not judging you, but you have to know what your default energy is so that you know actually what feeds my energy, what leaks my energy, what makes me feel tired, what makes me feel empowered. Is very important. Once you know where you're starting from, then you know what kind of work needs to be done to get to the next stage. The second thing is mindset magic. Some of you may have watched some movies where we've seen socialites and somebody among them was like a con artist, like a fake, just claimed to be some, what do you call it? Royalty from a different part of the world. And nobody ever asks questions about, oh, yeah, are they real? Until something big really happens. Everybody just assumes that they are who they say they are. It's a mindset magic. It's not because everybody around that space is an idiot. No, but this person believes it so much about themselves. They have a mindset that I'm this person. This is I am. And that's why I like to talk about this in this particular conference. I am change, right? What is your I am? What is your I am in your mindset? Whether you like it or not, it will come through. Confidence is contagious. Your energy is contagious. So if you believe it enough about yourself, everybody else will believe it about you. So one thing I'd like you to do is once you know what your foundation is in the sense of your default energy mode, then you need to now start cultivating a positive and empowering mindset. The third thing I'd like you to do once you start doing that piece of work is set boundaries. You cannot be trying to build the space for your energy and decide that I want to be positive, I want to stay empowered, and I want to believe this about myself, and allow people to come around you that are not in that energy space as well. One, remember that you're working on yourself, so you don't have enough energy to try to pull somebody else up. You have to protect and guide your own space. So establish safeguards around your energy. My sister will say this. When I call her, she starts telling me things that are happening. I'm like, I don't want to hear about it. She's like, oh, but I'm telling you, I don't want to hear about it. I'm protecting my energy. If this is what you're talking about, call me back another time. And she will laugh. But the truth is, I am consciously trying to protect my energy because I cannot live in the world of woe me, thinking it at a subconscious level and think that my energy will be different. You can't compartmentalize that energy. So you have to build boundary around yourself to make sure that only what you want to give out is what is coming true. And then that way, people also know exactly what to expect from you. You have to say yes only to commitments that align to the things that you believe in. Don't say yes to an assignment at your office that you know that you do not believe in, because it will come true in your body language and everything that you say. Whether you are saying yes, but just your face is saying no, people can tell. Because unfortunately for us, we are constantly giving out something. That's why you hear some people say, oh, that much is a phony. Why? Because the person is saying something, but everything in their body and all of the energy you're getting from them is saying something entirely different. And that leads very nicely to the last one, body language brilliance. Once you understand what your awareness is, you understand what the mindset magic is, you have to believe it. I am. And you build boundaries very clearly around it. Then you know that, okay, everything I believe, my body is going to constantly talk about it. It's going to constantly show that same thing. You have to be able to accept and reject, in the sense that don't sit somewhere accepting something that's being said to you, but you're sitting down there in resentment, as if, oh God, I hate this, but I'm just going to stay here because I want to be polite. Everything in your body is going to be showing it. Like I said, you can't compartmentalize energy. So if you want to inspire trust, if you want to inspire confidence, if you want to enter into a space where people, for some weird reason, just feel connected to you, the only way to do that is to stay authentic to who you really are. Stay authentic to who you really are. And when I say authentic, I know people use this word very, very often. I'm saying that know your flaws, accept your flaws, embrace them for what they are. They are part of who you are. And nobody really cares about perfection, which is why everyone in a space is typically looking around for, oh, how can I connect with this person? Most times people connect with you on the things that you think are actually flaws. So be authentic to yourself and accept that this is how I am. Because remember, executive presence means you have to be present, means you're not in your head thinking about how you want to respond to what is going on and what is being said, but means you're relaxed enough and confident enough to just accept that, well, I am here and I'm just going to be. So when they ask you a question, you're not lost and trying to make up a phony answer, but you're able to just accept that, okay, this is who I am. And people feel connected to you there. And they say, I just like you. I just trust you. They can't explain it. That's all about the energy. And that's all about being able to elevate that and bring it into, the kind of presence that you actually want to drive or to bring forward. I'm going to wrap up very quickly. I'm done now. Basically, what I want you to take away from this, if nothing at all, remember, energy management. What am I giving off? Whether I like it or not, I am giving off something every day. So in this moment, what do I choose to give off? And if I can manage what I'm giving off, then I am one step closer to elevating the kind of presence, whether it's being executive or otherwise, that I actually want. And if I'm already at a particular level, then I know what else do I need to do from an energy perspective to elevate that particular presence. So that's all I wanted to share with you guys. I know it's a lot, and I really wanted to run through it. But if you take nothing away, please take away the fact that knowing what energy you're giving up at every moment in time, in choosing which one you want to actually give up, and doing the I am work that is required to make sure that your subconscious can also believe it, so that your body can constantly give it up, is all that you can take away from this. I will be happy. All right. So I'm done. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Gbemi. You are absolutely incredible. I think for me, the biggest takeaways of everything that you said is people will fall in love with your flaws. The things that you think are, your greatest weaknesses are the things that make you, that people will bond over. And that leads us nicely into a question that, I'm seeing so much of in the chat here. Will imposter syndrome ever go away? Or another way to think of the same question is, how do we cope with him? How have you coped with imposter syndrome? What tips can you give this evening?
Yes, that's a fantastic question. The truth of the matter is, imposter syndrome is never going to go away. But the thing is that it doesn't have to be a state of being. Imposter syndrome will never go away. It will show up, but it doesn't have to be a state of being. You have to be able to understand that, okay, yeah, I'm in this particular space. Fantastic. I must have done something right in my life and in my time to actually be in this space, because remember, nothing happens by accident. So you're in that particular space, you have done something that has warranted and earned you that particular space. So own it. What you now need to understand in the next space is, okay, what do I want to give up in this particular space? If you're so busy trying to deal with your imposter syndrome and overthinking, then you stop being present and then you stay disconnected. So what I do is I look around and I take a sigh of gratitude and I bring myself back into the present. That's how I disconnect from the imposter, syndrome, or the idea when it comes in the moment. Constantly being in that moment allows me to break free from what they call a syndrome, because it can automatically become a way of being because you're dwelling on it. I hope that helps.
Yeah, no, that really does help. So the key takeaway there is be present to the situation that you're in and be embody an energy. Gbemi, thank you so much. Your career is phenomenal. Your career is absolutely inspirational. All the things you've done in the corporate spaces around the world, we are in total awe of what you have done, and also in total
I'm just